Get down to the basics. It's what you need to know. Get down to the basics when you're out on the road. Let's get down. Let's get down to the basics.
Oh, hello. I'm Gene Duffy. You know, more than ever, people are concerned about the rising costs of automobile maintenance and how to best prepare themselves for problems and roadside emergencies. Well, in the next few minutes, we are going to show you some of the basics of car care, and we're going to demonstrate the necessary steps you can take to operate and maintain your motor vehicle in a safe and economical way. The first step is to know as much as possible about your automobile, and the best way to do that is to read your automobile manual from cover to cover. You'd be surprised how many car owners never refer to their manual. Do you know the purpose of your alternator indicator? Can you tell when your engine coolant is overheated? Do you know what kind of fuel to use? The answers are here in your manual. It gives you all the information you need to know about your instrument panel, your engine, fuel and oil, accessories, and safety procedures. But manuals vary depending on the make and year of your car. You know, sometimes people will say that you should be using a particular type of gasoline, or you should have an oil change every so many miles. You can only be sure if you check your manual. This 1984 Ford needs an oil change at least every 12 months, or at 7,500 miles, whichever comes first. It requires unleaded 87-octane gasoline. If your engine pings on acceleration, your car may need a higher octane. If your car was manufactured after the mid-1970s, it probably requires unleaded gasolines. Vehicles equipped with catalyst emission control systems use only unleaded gasoline. These vehicles have labels located on the instrument panel and adjacent to the fuel filler cap or door that state, unleaded fuel only. To protect your engine, check your manual and make sure you are using the right kind of gasoline. Well, now that you know the kind of gasoline to use, let's see if you can get it into the gas tank. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Well, not so simple for some. This customer pulled up on the wrong side of the island. A lot of people make that mistake. If your filler is on the left side of your car, pull up on the right side of the island, not the left. And in most places, that helps to pay first. Of course, if your filler is in the rear center of your vehicle, you can pull up on either side of the island. This young lady comes here often, and she has self-service down to an art. She uses a waterproof glove to keep the fuel off. Some people get rashes from gasoline, and sometimes the fuel will splash or the nozzle will leak. This young lady wants to keep the gasoline in the tank, not on her hand. With more stations becoming self-service, it's important for everyone to learn how to put gas in their own car. Watch closely. Fuel cap off. Remove nozzle from pump. Turn handle to activate. Place nozzle firmly into filler neck. Squeeze the handle trigger. At this station, self-service saves her 40% over full service price, and she knows it's worth the extra effort. Simple when it's done right. Now, if the nozzle kicks off, just push in and squeeze. Now, when the tank is full, wait a few seconds. Then remove the nozzle, turn off the switch at the pump, replace the nozzle and fuel cap. know, sometimes when customers who smoke are waiting for the tank to fill, they're tempted to light up. Always take careful notice of the no smoking signs. If you smoke, you could mess up your whole day. Not to mention the attendant on duty and a nice customer who's trying to figure out how to use the pump. Here's another way to get gasoline into your car. Usually it happens when you've run out of gas and you're kicking yourself because you didn't join AAA. Well, here you are. You've walked 2 miles to find gasoline, and you've returned to your car with enough gas to get you back to the station. Simple enough. Put the gas in the tank and start your car. A piece of cake, right? Well, maybe not. The cake needs an ingredient that you don't have. A flexible, small neck funnel. Keep a funnel in your vehicle for roadside problems, but never store fuel cans in your vehicle. As you can see, the funnel could be an easy solution for a problem that happens to us sooner or later. If your vehicle requires unleaded gasoline, it will have a small neck with a valve that will only be forced open with a funnel. There are other roadside problems, too. One of the most frequent things that happens to us is this. You're in the middle of nowhere, and there's not a house nor car in sight. A flat tire. This always comes at the wrong moment. This is one of those times that you're glad you learned how to change a tire. The first step is to pull over safely to the side of the road, preferably on firm, level ground. If you have an automatic transmission, put the gear selector lever in park. If you have a manual transmission, put it in low or reverse gear. Turn off the engine and put on your parking brake and activate the hazard warning flasher. For your safety, always stay clear of moving traffic when changing your tire. If you're traveling with a passenger, they should never remain in the car. The location, usage, and storage of your jack are illustrated in your owner's manual. Remove the chocks, spare wheel, jack, and jack handle from storage. Since this flat is a rear tire, you would place the chocks in front and behind a front tire. If the flat is in front, the chocks would go behind and in front of a rear tire. With the chocks securely in place, jack the car up just enough to take the pressure off the wheel. If you're unsure about where to place the jack, consult your owner's manual. Some manuals require that you place the jack under your axle or bumper. Some cars have jack supports or location brackets on each side of the vehicle. Place the jack closest to the wheel you are replacing. Do not raise the vehicle until you are sure the jack is securely engaged. Now use a screwdriver or a lug wrench to remove the wheel cover and loosen the wheel nuts with the jack handle or lug wrench. Now jack up the car until the tire is several inches off the ground. Remove the wheel nuts and pull the flat tire off the hub. Install the spare wheel. Replace the wheel nuts with the cone-shaped end of the nut facing toward the wheel. Lightly tighten the nuts. To avoid the risk of forcing the vehicle off the jack, lower the vehicle until the wheels barely touch the ground before tightening the nuts. Finish tightening the nuts. Alternate every other nut until each nut has been securely tightened. Remove wheel blocks. Stow the flat tire, jack, and wrench. As soon as possible, stop at a station and get your tire and wheel checked and your flat repaired. Checking your tire pressure is essential for fuel economy, long tire life, car handling, and general safety. Now, in some newer vehicles, proper pressure will be listed on the sticker inside the door jamb. Use a gauge like this to check the pressure. Take off valve cap, put the gauge on, and sample the pressure. Add air. Repeat this on all the tires, including your spare. This car has overheated because the owner did not follow his manual guidance about coolant protection. Heat is your engine's worst enemy. It can burn out the engine and your transmission. That means your coolant level should be checked with every tank full of gas, and your cooling system should be flushed out every 12 months. If you check the level yourself, there are some things to remember. If there's steam coming from the cooling system, let it cool. Then loosen the radiator cap with a glove or towel before removing the cap. If your vehicle has a coolant recovery tank, as most new vehicles do, the level can be checked with the engine hot or cold. The tank should be about 1/3 full when cold and 2/3 full when hot. There are indicators on the plastic tank. On vehicles that do not have a recovery tank, the coolant level must be checked at the radiator. The best time to check is when the engine is off and cool. The coolant should be several inches from the top when cold. If you've been putting coolant in on a regular basis and your system still overheats, have it checked as soon as possible before serious problems develop. Some causes for overheating are a broken fan belt, stuck thermostat, clogged or frozen radiator, or leaks. New vehicles usually come with a solution that is about 50% antifreeze and 50% water. When you add coolant, you should also use 50% antifreeze as a minimum. Proper antifreeze helps prevent your system from freezing in cold weather and boiling over in hot weather. It also provides protection from corrosion of the cooling system. A great percentage of the vehicles brought in for service have mechanical problems that could have been avoided. The engine is ruined in this vehicle because the owner failed to check his oil. Your oil should be checked with every tank full of gas and when the oil pressure gauge shows low or when leaks develop. Always check after the engine has been off for at least 1 minute. The dipstick is usually on the driver's side of the engine, but could be on either side or even the front. Pull out dipstick, wipe it clean, push it back down all the way, pull the dipstick out and look at the oil level on it. If you're 1 quart or more low, add oil recommended by the owner's manual. Do not overfill. Now, when you need oil, these screw cap containers make it a lot easier than funnels and cans. Most newer vehicles require oil and filter changed and the vehicle lubed about 3 times a year or about every 5,000 miles under normal conditions. Now, if you're thinking about doing this yourself, well, there are some things better left to specialists. Changing the oil is a dirty and dangerous business, and you don't save that much money by doing it yourself. And what do you do with all that oil? You can have it changed at a service station, but many people prefer an operation that specializes in lubrication service. It normally takes only 10 minutes. In addition to changing oil, they replace the filters, lubricate the chassis, check all fluids, air filters, wiper blades, hoses and belts, and check the tire pressure. Using manufacturer specification products, the serviceman specializes in the service of your vehicle and is not working on many other jobs at the same time. They will send you a reminder card when service is due again. At one time or another, we all get caught with a battery problem. Maintenance-free batteries, as the name indicates, require no attention. Others require the adding of distilled water periodically. To check these batteries, remove the caps and observe the level. Do not expose the battery to open flame or spark. When our battery goes dead, most of us pick up the phone and do this. We call the Automobile Club. They get your car started, and you're on your way. But sooner or later, there'll come a time you have to do it yourself. You came home from a party last night, and you left your lights on. Now you're late. You don't have jumper cables, and even if you did, you've never used them. Maybe it's time to buy some and learn. First, you need a pair of jumper cables. Second, another car with a good battery. And third, a good friend to show you how to use it. Find the plus or positive symbol on both batteries. Hook up one of the positive clips to the positive terminal of the good battery. Get a firm connection. Hook up the other positive clip at the other end of the cable to the positive terminal of the dead battery. Connect one negative clip to the negative terminal of the good battery. Hook the other negative clip to a bare metal piece on the engine with the dead battery. Start the engine of the car with the good battery. After the car is started, remove the clip on the bare metal piece, then remove the clip from the negative terminal of the good battery. Thirdly, remove the clip from the positive terminal of the weak battery, then the clip from the positive terminal of the good battery. Another concern on the highway is your brakes. Your safety depends on them. It's easy to imagine what could happen if your brakes didn't work. How do you know when your brakes are bad? Well, there's no sure way to tell whether your brakes are due for new pads or linings without having the wheels removed and inspected. This should be done when the brake pedal feels low or when the vehicle pulls toward the side of the road as you apply the brakes, or when your vehicle fails to stop properly.
Okay, we're offering a free brake inspection this month. All I need you to do is fill this out for me.
On a routine basis, brakes should be checked at least every 10,000 miles. The cost is minimal, and in fact, many shops will do it for free. The brake fluid is in the brake master cylinder and should be checked at least at each oil change and, of course, when the brake pedal feels low. Check your owner's manual recommendations. If the brake fluid level is abnormally low, have the system checked for leaks. Fluid should be changed when brake cylinders are serviced. This occurs about every 2 years. Now, before we go, I want to leave a few reminders with owners who have automatic transmissions. We advise checking the transmission at least once between each oil change. If you have puddles, usually red, under your vehicle, or if you detect the transmission slipping, which means that the engine speeds up but the vehicle does not, you must check the transmission immediately. Fluid level should be checked when the engine is fully warmed and the transmission fluid is heated to its normal operating temperature. This usually means about 15 miles of normal driving. Now, to check the fluid, the car should be on level ground, make sure the parking brake is applied, and with the engine at idle speed, place the gear selector momentarily in each gear position, ending with the lever in park. Remove the dipstick, usually located at the rear of the engine. Wipe clean, insert until it seats, remove and read. If it indicates add, place a funnel in the opening where you remove the dipstick. Keep the engine idling and be sure to use only the correct type of automatic transmission fluid specified in your owner's manual. Do not overfill. This can cause damage to the transmission. It usually takes only 1 pint from the add to the full one. The fluid and filter should be changed and the bands adjusted in accordance with the owner's manual, usually about every 20,000 miles. We advise having this done by a specialist. Again, if you have any basic questions, check your manual. If you have misplaced your manual, you can get another one at a car dealer or manufacturer, at a salvage yard, or write the Auto Book Center, 48 Appleton Road, Auburn, Massachusetts, 01501. They stock thousands of manuals from the early 1930s to the present. We hope you've learned something about fundamental car care and that you can apply the new information you've learned. Please always wear your seat belts, and remember, on the highway, your vehicle is your best friend. Learn as much as possible about your vehicle. Treat it right. And like a good friend, it won't let you down.
Get down to the basics. It's what you need to know. Let's get down. Let's get down to the basics.